Posthumous Music by WRLD coming soon. Or depending on when you're watching this video, it may have been out for who knows how long. But Posthumous Music by WRLD as well as any other individual and what that has to do with you being a wealthy rapper. Good morning. You're tuned in to 5 a.m. Cinco affirmation music. 3. Look, I am a magnet. I am a money magnet. If I want it, I can have it. Imagination with some action. Law of attraction. What up? You got Cinco Smith at CincoSmith.com and WealthyRapper.com. And in this video, I want to just talk about posthumous music in general. But specifically, I just, saw an article that was pertaining to posthumous music coming out from WRLD. And hopefully I'm saying it right. Posthumous. Hummus sound funny because, hummus is a dip. But anyway, posthumous music basically after death. So music being put out and released after death. See, what you got to understand as an artist, you got to think about what you're doing in your craft from different angles than the typical. And most people are more people are starting to wake up and understand it. But, so many people get caught up in just the music itself or just trying to create something that's trending or just trying to create something for the moment and not thinking long term. Nipsey told you it's a marathon, not a sprint. So that being said, you got to think long term as it relates to what you're creating, what you're doing, which is why it's important for you to do certain things that can position you to be wealthy, even if you never get famous, even if you never get a record deal, because that's not guaranteed. And you might realize that ain't what you wanted in the first place anyway, due to the other things that are involved in that process. You might prefer something that you do that positions you to be a wealthy rapper in your journey that wouldn't have happened had you not tapped in. That's one thing. But on another note, as it relates to the music that you're creating, so many times people create things for the moment just because it's trending. And don't get me wrong, it's money to be made in trend, especially if you're releasing a product based on something that just happened. I'm sure there's a ton of people who made money off of Nipsey, when he passed due to different material and things of that nature. I'm sure there's a ton of people who made money off of Pac. Anytime somebody dies, they make a ton of money off of it because it's a trending thing in many cases. So it's money in trends in multiple ways, not just after someone passes, but it's money in trends, to say the least. However, solely rapping about the trend sometimes might not allow your music to live as long as it possibly can. So keep that in mind, because everybody will pass at some point. And I, hope you live to 100. Don't get me wrong. So it ain't like this is something that's going to happen to you next week, next year, 5 years from now. We're not speaking and thinking like that. But if you created something that can be of value beyond your life, you just pretty much made yourself immortal. You just pretty much created a legacy because your music was something that could be listened to 10 years from now, because people can relate, people can connect to it, because people found value in the messaging that you released at that time, even if they didn't know you. And that happens a lot of times. It's music that's perfect for certain soundtracks of movies. It's music that's perfect for certain content that's being created. The person is no longer here, so they have to go through the legal rights in order to be able to use the music based on who's controlling the music. But the music itself was timeless. So it allowed them to be able to have that music used even after their death. Now, on the flip note, if you've recorded some music and didn't release it, and people have access to your catalog, that music can also be used and released posthumously, just like the WRLD song that's coming out and many other songs that have come out after someone has passed away. But if the music is timeless, it allows that music to fit no matter what the narrative is. Now, I know they had the ability to alter and change certain things if it doesn't necessarily fit the time. But if you think from that angle, you'll speak to the person, you'll speak to people, you'll speak to the individual more than you're speaking on the trend of things that's going on. One person who does that well that just came to mind that I feel the urge to share is somebody like a J. Cole. He like he said, he studied the hearts of people, studied their mind. So when he's talking to them, he's talking to them. So a person can listen to certain songs and feel as though they're being spoken to by him. So this music that's going to be more than likely timeless, that's going to live beyond him because he was speaking to the human being, the individual, and speaking to the individual will allow that to connect with them. And people that's not even born now will benefit from some of the words that are released in some music that has been recorded because it's timeless. So think legacy when you're recording your music. That's another wealthy rapper tip as it relates to you and your recording and the messages that you put out. Because I promise you, if you just think about things differently than the average person, then you'll realize you can become a wealthy rapper even if you never get famous, even if you never get a record deal. And if you want the free case study on how I talk about creating multiple streams of income, even if you never get famous or even if you never get a record deal as an artist, visit wealthyrapper.com. Link should be available somewhere down below, wealthyrapper.com, spelt the correct way. And grab access to that free case study and see if it gives you any value. But nonetheless, think legacy, think long term, think marathon, not sprints. That's all I got for this video. Cinco Smith signing out. Salute. I am a magnet. I am a money magnet. If I want it, I can have it. Imagination with some action. Law of attraction. I attract positive people, and positive people somehow be attracted to me. But I feed off of negative energy. Negative energy give me the power I need. Peace. You were never born to be mediocre. Worldwide well, tell me why you thinking local. You're a greatness in the making. Amazing grace, somebody bringing the vocals. Look, you were never born to settle when the world needs you right now more than ever. Just know that I'm God sent, bringing knowledge and hot spit. Somebody better go warn the devil. Hello.